If you want cheap Microsoft points and game codes, check out g2a.com. Link is in the description below.
Hey guys, it's Melvin7 here, and today I'm bringing you my match predictions on BPL Matchday 14. Obviously, this is a midweek fixture games, basically they're Tuesday and Wednesday. So, let's get straight into this. So the first game is Burnley up against Newcastle. Now this should be a very, very interesting game. Burnley, of course, have just came back from their draw with Aston Villa. Aston Villa had to get the equaliser as Burnley scored first, I believe. And Newcastle obviously got beat 1-0 against West Ham. Finally, they lost after 5 games in the BPL where they successfully won all 5. So, you know, this is going to be a really interesting game. Newcastle have a fair few injuries and Burnley look as though they can actually score now. So, you know what, I'm going to say, considering Newcastle are away, I do think they've got the better team out of the two, but I think it's going to be a very close game. But I'm going to go 2-1 Newcastle, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this game be a draw, but 2-1 Newcastle is my prediction. The next game is going to be Leicester versus Liverpool. Now, obviously, Liverpool finally got a win against Stoke City. It was 1-0. It took them a good 89 minutes or so to actually get that, but they did manage to get it, and Leicester were unlucky against QPR. QPR finally got a little bit of luck and got the win. Both teams, that was a very entertaining match. It was the first one on Match of the Day, and yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed watching the highlights of that. So Leicester City finally found some goal scoring form since their game against us, where they netted 5, obviously. So this game's going to be very, very interesting. Now, it's very, very difficult. I don't think Mario Balotelli is going to be back. Obviously, Sturridge is injured for Liverpool. They're just so unpredictable this season. And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate if I do predict them to lose or whatever, but they are away. So again, I'm not going to say lose. I'm going to go with the safe option just because both sides are struggling. If Liverpool win, fair enough, but I'm going to go 1-1 Leicester, Liverpool. I just honestly think that Leicester have now got the knowledge that they can actually score, and they're going to want to hit Liverpool because they're going to look at Liverpool's form in the league and they're going to be like, we can go for this, like everyone did against us last season when Moyes was in charge, when we were doing really, really badly. That is exactly what teams went out and did. And the next game consists of us. It's Man United versus Stoke. As I say, Stoke lost against Liverpool late on, which is good for us because obviously that means that they're on a losing streak. Well, they're not really, but you know what I mean. They've lost their last game. We obviously won Hull 3-0. It's only Hull, but it was our best performance. And also Angel Di Maria was injured, so he's not going to be eligible. But Ander Herrera came on and got man of the match anyway. So he'll be the direct replacement for Angel Di Maria in my eyes. Hopefully Falcao can start, but I've just watched Louis van Gaal's press conference, and I don't know whether he's going to start him in this game. I mean, Rooney should be fit, even though he had that late injury scare. So I'm not sure what's going to happen in regards to the team sheet. Hopefully Falcao starts though. If not, just make sure he starts for the Southampton Liverpool games. Hopefully he's fully fit for those. I trust Louis van Gaal. Anyway, I think we're going to beat Stoke. It's not going to be an absolute demolition job, but if we can keep possession like we did against Hull, we can break them down. Stoke are usually a very resilient team, and they proved that against Liverpool. It took nearly 90 minutes for Liverpool to bring them down. So, you know what? I'm going to say 2-0, but I know I just said that it's not going to be a demolition job, but if we can find an early goal and get some momentum, then maybe we can win by more, but Stoke generally don't get battered, so I'm going to say 2-0 Man United. Hopefully we can get another clean sheet and play the same back four for the second time in a row, which consists of 2 midfielders because of Valencia and Young. But anyway, next game is Swansea versus QPR. Obviously, QPR just beat Leicester. They finally got a win, which they did deserve, which moved them off the bottom of the Premier League table. And Swansea drew 1-1 against Crystal Palace, which I predicted. By the way, I'll go through the points total at the end, because this is obviously against the Mr. AC. And we did draw this week, but Swansea, Crystal Palace, I said 1-1. It finished 1-1. And yeah, both teams, you know, it looks like a fairly evenly contested match. I mean, if this had been played 4 weeks ago, then maybe I would have said Swansea would have walked it. But now QPR actually seem as though they're getting some momentum. They're getting their spark. So, for that reason, I'm going to say QPR victory. I mean, this one's difficult, but I'm going to say 2-1 to QPR. I generally believe Charlie Austin, if he's on form, as well as Leroy Fer, they could they could break down Swansea. I mean, Swansea are an incredible side, but I just think QPR will win 2-1. The next game is Palace versus Aston Villa. Palace got a draw against Swansea, whereas Villa, I'm trying to remember, they drew against Burnley. So yeah, 1-1 in both games. Neither team look outstanding. They both need a win. This is probably going to be a relegation battle towards the end of the season. You know, Benteke is yet to find some actual form for Aston Villa. I know he's just came back from injury, but I think Vla's still injured. I'm not sure if he's going to be back. He would obviously provide some defensive solidity. And then Crystal Palace have recently, okay, I know I've just said that this might be a relegation battle, but recently they've shown some real spirit, especially the Liverpool result 2 weeks ago. So for that reason, I'm going to say Palace are going to win this, and I'm going to say it 1-0. Don't think it's going to be very high scoring, but I could be wrong. Sorry, I've got a cold. Anyway, the next game is West Brom versus West Ham. West Brom lost against Arsenal 1-0. Very, very close game, whereas West Ham beat Newcastle 1-0. West Ham are without Sacco and Valencia, I believe, but they've got... who filled in for them? My mind's completely gone. I think it was Jarvis, and I completely forgot who else. Andy Carroll, that's the one. He's just came back from injury. He filled in, and they looked pretty good against Newcastle. It was a pretty boring game, but they did do enough to beat Newcastle. Obviously, they are 5th or 6th, whereas West Brom, you know, Berahino's kind of tailored away. Obviously, he got the drunk driving charge, etc. So, I think West Ham will win this, even though West Brom are at home. So I'm going to say 2-0 to West Ham, just purely for the fact that they're on a run of form. You know, Harry seems to be getting his tactics right. Harry, did I just say Harry? Sam Allardyce. Why did I say Harry? I was thinking of Harry Redknapp, for fuck's sake. Sam Allardyce seems to be getting his tactics right, and he's a very good manager. Hopefully he can prove that this season. The next game is going to be the first Wednesday game, and it is going to be Arsenal versus Southampton. Now, Southampton obviously got dismantled by Manchester City, probably because Schneiderlin did get injured, unfortunately, so all their momentum was gone. Even though Mangala got a red card in the second half, City just had too much class for them and beat them 3-0, which, you know, isn't good for Southampton. Out of the teams they played in the top 7 from last season, Spurs, Liverpool and City, they've lost all 3. So they're now coming up against someone else who was in the top 7, Arsenal, who have just beat West Brom. They've obviously beat Borussia Dortmund in midweek, so confidence is going to be high, but Wilshere is injured. I think Koscielny's back though, so that's a big positive for Arsenal. So this week, I think this is my 3rd episode I've done this. This is the first time going to be predicting this, but I think Arsenal will beat Southampton, to be honest, and it's probably going to be one of those games where they just pass around the opponents and just outclass them, really. So I'm going to say 2-0 to Arsenal, and that is probably good, because if Manchester United do win and Southampton lose, we're now 1 point behind Southampton. So, and then we play them on the weekend. So, you know, that would be a good result for us. And the next game, Chelsea versus Spurs. Now, Chelsea obviously a shock draw against Sunderland and Chelsea. I did predict them to win 2-0, but I also said in my predictions I wouldn't be surprised to see Sunderland hold out for a draw. They did very well, and they did actually hold them to a draw, which only Manchester United and Manchester City have done this season. So Chelsea had a little last there, but they're going to be determined to fight back and get that. Spurs, on the other hand, 2-1 against Everton, a really good result for them. They did perform very well, and I didn't expect that. I thought Everton would win, but Spurs proved me wrong, and they did go out and win. So it's going to be an interesting battle. Both sides are now in the top 7. I think Spurs are 7th. Obviously Chelsea are running away with the league at the minute in 1st. So Chelsea have also played the same starting 11 3 times in a row, which is a fucking luxury. Especially if you're Manchester United or Arsenal fan, looking at that, you think, what? How the hell have you done that, considering you've had 3 games in a week? But anyway, they do look pretty good, obviously, so I'm going to say Chelsea win 2-0. I think they're going to be determined. Mourinho's going to give them the hairdryer treatment. He's not going to be happy with the Sunderland result, and he's going to push them, maybe make some changes, because Oscar looked a bit redundant in that game. So I think they will beat Spurs 2-0, even, well, it's at Stamford Bridge as well, so, you know. Next game is Everton versus Hull. Now, Everton lost against Spurs. I was really surprised by that. Hull, on the other hand, They got beat 3-0 quite easily by us, so their confidence is going to be low. Everton are going to be wanting to fight back, kick back, show that they can actually, you know, contend for the Europa places. So for me, this is going to be another easy game. I think 3-0 to Everton. As long as they get the tactics right, you know, they should be too much for Hull to handle. That's my opinion. And the last game is going to be Sunderland versus Manchester City. Manchester City have just beat Southampton 3-0. Big statement of intent there. That moves them second in the table. Sunderland, on the other hand, drew against Chelsea. So it's not going to be a walk in the park in my eyes. Sunderland are very, very good defensively. The only result that doesn't show that is the 8-0 against Southampton, which was just an anomaly. And they've kind of proved that. So for me, this is a really difficult one, because obviously as a Man United fan, I don't want to be biased and I don't want to say, oh, Sunderland will win, Sunderland will draw. I'm going to actually think tactically. If you think they've just held Chelsea to draw at the Stadium of Light. This match is being played at the Stadium of Light. City dispatched Southampton but weren't incredible. They were just a bit better than Southampton. They managed to hit them on the counter-attack and scored 3. If you think back to the Arsenal game in Manchester United, Arsenal were battering us, okay? It could have been 3-0 to us if Di Maria had scored, and that would have reflected a biased scoreline, like 3-0 against Arsenal when they were the better team in that game. I'm not saying that Southampton were the better team against City. City were the better team, but the 3-0 probably gives them a little bit of a luxury compared to their performance, if that makes any sense. It was basically a 1-0 performance, but they won 3-0, not taking anything away from that. So going on that, I think Sunderland can get a draw. And personally, if they can somehow find a way to stop Sergio Aguero, then they're going to have a huge chance. You know what, I'm going to say 1-1, because City will have to play Di Michelis, because Mangala is now injured. No, sorry, he got sent off. So they're going to have to play Di Michelis. I think Sunderland can break through on a counter-attack and get a goal. So I'm going to say 1-1 Sunderland City. Let me know your predictions in the comment section. Let me know what you think of mine. We'll review the Mystery Seas selections now, and we'll go over how many points we got last week as well now, and yeah, we'll do the side-by-side comparison. So hopefully you do enjoy. Right, so in the last episode, me and the Mystery Sea did draw. We both got 6 points. He got more results correct, like who would win, etc. But because of my, I think it was Crystal Palace versus Swansea, I said 1-1. I got 3 points for that, whereas he only got 1 point because he said it was 2-2, so it's level. So in total, it is 15-9 to me. But anyway, as you can see, our predictions are fairly similar. I mean, the Newcastle result is reversed. He thinks that Burnley are going to win. He's also said that Liverpool will beat Leicester. He's also said that Man United will win 3-0. I said 2-0, and that's interesting since I am a Manchester United fan. He's also reversed my Swansea result, so he said that Swansea will win and not QPR. He said that Crystal Palace and Villa will draw. Both had identical results for West Ham. He's also said that Arsenal will win, but Southampton will score. He's predicted the same result as Chelsea versus Spurs. Everton versus Hull, he said 1-0 Everton. And Sunderland, he predicts that they will continue their fine 1-0 results as they have done against City for the last 4 years, instead of me, where I've put a draw. So yeah, fairly similar, but a few differences. Let us know what your predictions are in the comments, and yeah, peace.